2025 is probably going to be one of the hardest F1 seasons ever to predict. The back end of 2024 was so competitive. It's going to be really, really difficult to work out just where teams are going to be, where drivers are going to be. And I'm going to have a go today at trying to pick the top 5. I'm not going to go for every single driver from 20th to 1st because it's going to be impossible and driver changes will happen and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to have a go today at trying to pick who I think will finish in the top 5 of the F1 Drivers' Championship. In 5th place, I'm going to go for Lewis Hamilton. Now, there's a lot of hype around Lewis Hamilton, obviously going to Ferrari, the most successful driver in Formula One history, joining the most successful team in Formula One history. So obviously this is going to be a massive, massive deal. It's been so hyped up for about a year. People cannot wait to see this combination. And personally, I think it's going to take a little while to get it where he wants it to be and where Ferrari want it to be. I think it's definitely going to be a year of adaptation, getting used to the new car and getting used to a new team, a new engine that he's never used before. And obviously going up against Charles Leclerc as well, who's been at Ferrari for 6 years now. The team is pretty much built around him. He's one of the best drivers in the sport. And, fair play to Hamilton. He's not one to duck a challenge going up directly against Charles Leclerc. But I think Leclerc is going to have that advantage going into this season because obviously he knows the team inside out. The team is built around him. He's been there for so long now. And I think Ferrari, obviously, based on, I know you can't base everything on testing because it's not, teams don't showcase everything. But I think coming away from that, I don't think Ferrari are quite where they expected to be and where we expected to be. So on that basis, I'm going to put Lewis Hamilton in 5th place. In 4th place, I'm going to go for Oscar Piastri. Now, this is a strange one because, to be perfectly honest, I still don't know how good Oscar Piastri really is. Because in 2024, he had some amazing performances. The wins in Hungary and in Baku and some incredible drives along with that. But then towards the back end of the year, his form really started to fade. And there were a lot of races where, compared to Lando Norris, he was absolutely nowhere. So I think consistency is something that Piastri's definitely going to have to work on. And I think it's something that could potentially hinder him this season if he can't quite get it right. I definitely don't think he's on Lando Norris's level just yet. And I think he's, still got some tweaks to go to kind of get up to that level. The potential's definitely there. He's very quick on his day. We all know that. And he's very calm under pressure. So we know in the right situation, Oscar can make it happen. But I still think that lack of consistency is what's going to be the difference between him and, say, challengers like Lando and Max and Charles. So for that reason, I'm going to put Oscar Piastri in 4th. 3rd place, Charles Leclerc. I think he had his best season last year. I think he was really, really consistent. And I think if he hadn't have had that little dip in the middle of the season where he had a few races where the car wasn't quite there, he couldn't extract it. And I think if that hadn't have happened, I think he could have been up there challenging with Max and Lando for the title. Back end of the season, he was absolutely brilliant. Those wins in Monza and COTA were just amazing. And I think he's going to be on such a high coming into 2025. And obviously having Lewis Hamilton now as a teammate, I think is going to give him that extra motivation to be like, right, I need to be on it every single race now because there's this guy behind me, my teammate, who is going to pounce on every single opportunity. So I cannot afford to mess up. And I think having a teammate like Lewis Hamilton who's achieved so much in the sport, I think is really going to help Leclerc take it to that next level. I can definitely bank on Leclerc being really, really consistent, putting his car in very, very high places, scoring consistent podiums, getting a few wins along the way. So I back Leclerc to have another strong season this year, and I think he will finish in 3rd place. Now, this whole list has been really hard to make, really hard to place drivers. I've swapped and changed so many times, and the top 2 especially have been the hardest to cement. and there have been so many reasons for it, so many sort of permutations and things like that. It's been really, really hard to work out first and second. But the driver that I'm going to put in second for this year is Max Verstappen. And that's not a reflection on Max Verstappen at all, because the things that man can do in a car is unreal. Like the amount he can extract. I mean, look at last year. He took a car that was probably third best on average for the second half of the season, and he managed to increase his points gap over Lando Norris and still win the title. However, I think for this year, I don't think his car is going to be quite enough. Alright, he'll drive the absolute wheels off it, he'll wrangle every single tenth of a second he can out of it, but I don't think this year that Max is quite going to have quite enough within the car to help him to a 5th World Championship. Obviously, Red Bull have had their struggles. It's been well documented over the last year, their dip in performance. Obviously, they've lost the influence of Adrian Newey for this year as well. And as great as Max is, I just think it will dip a little bit again this year. And I think that McLaren might just be a little bit too strong. And I might be eating my words come November. Max Verstappen might clinch a 5th World Championship in the most incredible circumstances, and I might look like an absolute idiot. Who knows? I mean, last year, a lot of people were saying that Lando was going to get Max eventually, and it didn't happen. So, who knows? But my gut feeling is that Max Verstappen will get absolutely everything he can out of that Red Bull, but this time I just don't think it'll be enough. So that means that my driver's champion for 2025 is Lando Norris. Now, a lot of you might be watching this video and going, well, Lando bottled it last season. He had several opportunities to win it and he fumbled every single one of them. And yeah, that's a decent point. But I think he would have learnt a lot from last year. I think he would have taken in those experiences. He would have analysed them. He would have done a lot of thinking over the winter. And I think he will come back this season a much better driver, a much more rounded driver, and a driver who wants to prove a point. And I think that's going to go a long, long way to helping him on his way to that title. And, you know, not forgetting that McLaren, I'm expecting McLaren to be the quickest car from the get-go. I think they will be the fastest car out of the blocks. And you never know, Lando might be a better front runner than he is a chaser, and a lot of drivers are like that. Sebastian Vettel was like that. He was much better when he was in control, and if Lando Norris gets a lead in the championship, he might take a lot more confidence from that. It might give him the belief that actually, yeah, I can do this, I can challenge for a title and I can win it. And yeah, I just think that his experiences from last season will make him a much better driver, and I think he will be in a much better position to try and get that first title. And I think with Red Bull, Red Bull will dip again, and Max will obviously do his best, like I said, but McLaren are in a great position, and I think that Lando, he's never going to have a better opportunity. You know, with that McLaren being as quick as it is, and, you know, if Lando, like I said, can get a lead and get some confidence going, win some races early on, that can make a massive difference. If Lando wins the first couple of races, that's going to give him so much belief and it will do wonders for his confidence. So, yeah, I think if he can get some early momentum, he's definitely in a great shout for this title. I think it'll be close between Lando and Max, though. You know, Max is going to give it everything that he has. Like I said, he's going to wrangle everything he can out of that Red Bull. But I just don't think that car is going to be quite enough. And I think that the car could be the difference this year between winning and losing. So it could be fine margins. But my gut says Lando, so I'm going to back Lando Norris to win the championship in 2025. So that is my take on who will finish in the top 5 in the Drivers' Championship this season. What do you think? Do you agree with my picks? Do you think that I'm a complete idiot? Let me know your own predictions, what you think the Drivers' Championship is going to look like. Because obviously it is all kind of up in the air, it is open to interpretation, even if it looks like McLaren are going to have the advantage. So yeah, let me know. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider leaving a like on there for me. If you're new around here and you like what you see, why not get subscribed so that you can be notified of future videos like this one. Comment below any thoughts and suggestions that you may have. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.